Welcome to another episode of Rell Good here on the Crawford Podcasting Network with my good friend, the High Wire Act out of Riviera Beach, Florida, Richard Rellford. Number 40 for the Wolverines, two-time Big Ten champion. And I was there at the game last night, Chrysler, watching the Wolverines take on Middle Tennessee State, Middle Tennessee State out of Murfreesboro, or Murfreesburg, whatever. One of the two. They're called the Blue Raiders.
Okay.
But Michigan had a little sluggish in the first half.
Okay.
But Dusty challenged his team, Richard Rellford. I'm sure you would have embraced that as well as your teammate Butch Wade would have embraced that. We need to be more physical in the second half, and they did indeed do that.
Well, from my stats, because I got home late last night, so I only got a chance to see the ending of the game. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I like is in the second half, we turned it around. And because you know what, I tell people this. Sometimes you play to the level of your competition.
That's true.
And our biggest thing with Dusty's guys is we always play great in the second half, but we got to start that way.
Yeah.
If we start that way, then you can kind of coast towards the last 5 minutes of the game because now you're up by a big margin. But you know what? Being the sixth ranked team, everybody that comes to see you going to try to beat you because now everybody knows.
Yeah, we saw it at TCU last week. Hey, I want to ask you though. So, be honest with me. When you played what Dick Vitale would say a cupcake opponent, did you find yourself lighting up as a player in those games and maybe not expending the energy you would of a high-level Big Ten team or not? Be honest with me.
I'm gonna be totally honest. Of course you do. You don't. You're not getting up as much as you would and say you playing Ohio State. You're gonna get up for those games because those games matter. These games are for, I think, as coaches, when you're coaching against teams like this, is to get all your guys in and get the experience.
Yeah.
You want your guys to get experience, and the guys that don't normally would get a lot of playing time, you play those guys. Believe me, we had teams like that. And so, I don't mind these, as people say, these cupcake teams because you're not going to know where your team is if you don't play some of these guys.
Yeah.
And because some teams were, like we talked about earlier, you see Akron beat Marquette.
Yeah. You never know. And
you
never
don't
know who's good,
right?
Who could evolve later on.
That's exactly right.
You just don't know. And so when you're saying don't get up, did you find yourself having lazy moments, non-hustle moments, diving for ball, loose ball, stuff like that?
Yes, you do. I think loose balls are a little different because we've always been taught when you see the ball, you hit the floor. I don't care who you're playing.
Yeah, okay.
You're taught to hit the floor. But, when you have a good team like Michigan has, and you rank so high, and you play schools like that, sometimes you have a lax in judgment because you start to think, well, we got them. We know we're going to get them. We're going to wear them down because we're more talented. Yeah. That's usually how we look at it. And so, you don't get up all the time, but, Big Ten season getting ready to start, so you better get up.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just a couple of weeks or 2 games set here early in December, then a break, and then to start up again with USC on January 2nd. And then you have another non-conference team coming in a little bit later in the year, the Duke Blue Devils. That will be interesting, how Michigan does there. But I noticed that it was about, about 12 minutes ago in the second half, and Michigan had 9 players who had played double digits, all about the same amount of time, other than Yaxel Lendeborg, who had like 20, and everybody else was kind of in the same range. And I thought, wow, that's going deep, and it will be interesting to see how long that lasts of using that many players. And Winters Grady is another guy that I asked Dusty about where they're going to incorporate him, and because he's a flat-out shooter, and they need perimeter shooting on this team.
Yes, they do.
It's not a good. There's no Duncan Robinson. Well, with the exception, in my opinion, eventually of Winters Grady. They don't have that flat-out shooter. We saw it against TCU. They're 4-25 from beyond the arc.
Yeah. Well, you know what? As the year goes, you're going to find guys who will become your shooters. I really like Barnett. I think if he gets going, he's going to be tough to stop.
He was, but he was really quiet last night. I mean, he played 20 minutes, and it's not like he did anything bad, but he just wasn't. It wasn't his night to stand out. I guess that's the point.
That's a good way to put it, because, like I said, some guys are different from others. When we played teams that were not as good as we were, a lot of us always thought about, this is a good game to get your stats up. So if you play hard, you get your stats up. Because Coach Reedy believed if you played hard against those teams, he would leave you in the game.
Yeah.
If he saw you not, just coasting, well, you ain't gonna be playing too much in that game. So
well, I'll tell you what, a guy who got his stats up, what was number 23, the LeBron James jersey number. Yaxel Lendeborg had 25 points and 12 boards, and he was dominant. And the thing about it is, Rich, he looks like he's not even exerting a lot of physical effort. It comes so easy for him.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I know he works hard, but he just does it without, looking like his tongue's not hanging out. That's for sure. He was a man among boys. And then I was curious. I would have loved to have seen your reaction when I shot you that text about the NIL package that Yax has at Michigan, somewhere between 3 and 3.5 million, whatever it is. I mean, that's a lot of coin, right? For when you're a basketball at Michigan.
That's a ton of cash. And if you're worried about his playing time, I'm not. Because if I'm paying you $3.4 million, you're gonna play out there until your tongue fall out. And but like I told you earlier, these schools now, it's all about NIL money.
Yeah.
If you get NIL, you get good players. And I had a friend told me the other day, but it's not fair to all the other schools. Listen, man, it's not our fault that Michigan got all this money, Ohio State got all this money. We got wealthy alumni.
Yeah.
And so I also believe that every kid should be paid NIL money. I do. I don't, from the starter on the bench to the guy who's a walk-on. He deserves money because I believe in that. I believe you got to share the wealth. If you share the wealth, then you'll have everybody wanting to come to your school because you're taking care of people. I'll give you another example. Look at UCLA, USC, all these schools in the Big Ten in football now. Why did they come to us? Because we have that $6 billion money coming from the NC. We have money.
That TV revenue.
That TV revenue
package.
Right. It's getting everyone.
It's TV. I mean, TV is huge. I mean, TV, when you were a freshman at Michigan, I think that was the first year where they kind of had a deregulation where you could have multiple networks.
Yes.
Broadcast college basketball and college football. But that took years to build that revenue. It had to get accepted from a TV advertising standpoint that this is a good product. And then March Madness brought attention to college basketball. And so people are starting to watch it early, and the advertisers saw the appeal, and that, TV rules the world right now as far as revenue generation.
It definitely does. And like you said, I think March Madness did that. I think because March Madness is one of the most exciting times in college sports. In football, they don't have March Madness.
They don't. They're trying to. I mean, they have a descent. But it's not like 3 weeks or whatever it is. 3 weeks of just where I'll tell you. When you think about March Madness, Rich, is that you have people filling out a bracket who don't even give a shit about college basketball.
That's right.
They want to be part of the mix.
Yes.
And they might pick the team just based on their colors, or they like the mascot or whatever.
That's exactly right.
In it. And, sometimes I always feel when you're filling out a bracket, the less you know, the better off you are.
Yeah. I agree with that one, Tom.
Yeah. Fill the damn thing out. Don't look at the seed, or just don't go chalk. But yeah, that helped your sport.
Yes.
I mean, it was popular when you were there, obviously at Michigan. But man, It is huge right now. There's basketball on every station, and the season starts a month earlier than it did when you were there.
That's exactly right. But I tell my son all the time, all this happens when you win. If you're winning, your school, people are gonna love you. Because if you're not winning, a lot of schools feel like, we're not gonna worry about it. But I always think, I tell you, it hits in my mind every time people talk about winning. I think about Bo Schembechler.
Yeah.
And when Bo said to me, if you come to Michigan, you will become champions.
Yeah.
That's his motto.
Yeah.
And I took it as I get there, we win. Look, right now, if I go back to Ann Arbor, they treat me as if I still play there.
They do. I've noticed that when you've been in the firebox. I mean,
it's
got the ushers coming up to you that worked when you were 4 years ago.
Yes, exactly. And so we love that. When you win, I encourage schools, and in Michigan, you win, you will become champions, and they will love you forever.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get my friend Anthony Carter to come back to visit, because
he would be like royalty. I mean, that would be
we talk about it all the time. He don't even think like that, Tom.
No, I know he doesn't.
He's so mild-mannered.
He's very private.
Yes.
From the day he stepped on campus.
He's always been. I'm always surprised. Usually I'll call him something, a lot of times. But every time he calls me, I'm always surprised, because I'm saying, you never call me. But he calls me to tell me things that's going on in our hometown. And so we love it. And listen, man, one of the greatest things you can ever do is create friendships, and you go to college and you become friends for life.
Oh yeah. Those, because it's a really integral part of your life where you're trying, you're going from K through 12 kid, and you're into college, and you're away from home, and you're trying to get a degree to develop a career path, and then you get in the career path, and the grown-up stuff starts. But that college stuff, there's not a lot of accountability and fun. And then you were a star basketball player at the University of Michigan, where basketball players were noticed because they saw you up close.
Yes.
They recognized you.
Because you can see our face.
On the diag, we all recognize basketball. Well, y'all look tall.
Right.
But I mean, Phil Hubbard, when Phil Hubbard would come down the diag, I mean, you know it's Phil Hubbard, because you've seen him up on the football players. They're all, they're helmets.
They have helmets.
You don't see them up close.
That's exactly right. They have helmets on, so you can't see them. And so when you see them in the streets, a lot of times you don't know it's them. Yeah. And so, listen, one of the greatest things I've ever did, man, was to choose to go to the University of Michigan. Yeah. Because something's always happening with us.
So when you walk down the diag, did people recognize you? And
oh yeah, you know the kids, the people who recognize you are the students in your class.
Yeah,
the students that you have classes with, they always notice you, and then their friends, they tell their friends, and next thing you know, all you guys are hanging out at Dooley's or at Thanos, and y'all sitting and talking, and they'll ask you things like, "So how does it feel to be a Michigan basketball player?" And we just laugh and always say, just like it doesn't feel to be a student. The only thing is we have extracurricular activities that we have to be at. So it's a little more difficult. As freshmen, we stayed in the dorm, so you get to see everyone. All the guys come up. People constantly knocked on our doors when we stayed in the dorm. Me and Butch was roomie. Roy was downstairs. Robert Henderson was downstairs.
Were you in South Quad or West Quad? Where were we at?
We're in South Quad. No, we're in West Quad.
West Quad, okay.
Yeah, we're in West Quad. And because the football players were in South.
That's right.
So, but we had, listen, my freshman year was a blast. We had fun until it got cold.
Well, yeah, because you're a soft guy from
Florida. Exactly. I'm from Florida. We ain't used to that. And so all the football players that were from Florida, we all used to get together and talk about, yo, man, is it cold up here to you? Yeah, it's freezing. And they'd be like 50. And so we'd be like, it's freezing, because I'm used to 70.
When did you move from West Quad, your sophomore? When did you go get your own apartment?
The summer of going into my sophomore year.
Okay, second.
So you stayed the whole year in the dorm your freshman year. Okay, they suggest that.
Okay, so you're in the house. Who was in your house? Who would you have?
Just me and Roy Tarpley. That was it. We had our own apartment.
You had your own apartment.
Every player, all of us room with each other. depends. But I don't know who Butch had, but me and Roy, Antoine and one of his friends, we all roomed. Roy, Gary Grant had one of his friends from Cleveland that stayed with him because they wanted you to be as comfortable as possible.
Were you in a house or an apartment building?
Apartment building.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. You had a apartment. We didn't have to live with. I see what all these colleges now got all the players living together and staying in the same place.
Okay, here's another thing. As a full scholarship athlete, you didn't have to worry. And even though and I lived in a fraternity house because I didn't want to cook. I mean, we had to cook. I didn't cook. Okay, a spoiled kid growing up. Okay?
Me neither.
Okay, so but as a basketball player, if you move in an apartment, you're like, how do you cook? Well, you had training table,
right,
at Thanos or wherever.
Right. Yeah,
right?
Thanos, and we had it at Wiffle Tree.
Wiffle Tree.
Where
was that?
It was off of. I think it's off of. It's not State Street. It might have been off Main Street.
Okay.
It wasn't on Washington, because one of the owner of that restaurant was a big time Michigan alum.
That's what it takes.
And so
and they come in and you're like royalty. Yeah, what do you want? How do you want that cooked?
This was a high end restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where the meals were not cheap. I say a couple could spend $150, $200 easy.
Wow.
And this man brought us in, and Coach Fried and them had worked it. All he wanted to do was just come watch us play. And we could come.
So I got to ask you a question. So that training table where you didn't have to cook, did that go beyond the season? Was that in the fall as well?
Well, that's what Thanos came in. Thanos was all year round.
So you could go to Thanos year round whenever you were hungry.
Whenever you were hungry. And we didn't.
And I went into Thanos one time, and Bill Frieder was working the cash register.
Yes. Listen.
It's like, oh, are times this tough? I mean, are you preparing to get whacked or what? He laughed.
He liked it. He liked it. He freezed. Yeah. Listen, you would go in there and freeze when he would work be the hostess kind of guy. Mm-hmm. We would die laughing. Because he would
he had the freaking menus when you walked. Yes. It's like a guy working at Bill Knapp's or something.
Yes. And Frieda, he loved it though, because I think it made him feel normal.
Tell you what, he was not normal.
No, he was not.
A weird duck, man.
But a smart man. One of the smart.
Abnormally intelligent.
Yes. I told you.
Crazy level, insanity smart.
Listen, if he ever see this, he'll probably say, Rich, do not tell them I could count cards.
Oh, yeah. So I got kicked out of those casinos in Vegas.
He could go, right. He could never go back to Vegas. He got banned. His picture was on the walls. They knew who he was. But I always tell people that the secret man when we went to Monte Carlo. And, they didn't know him over there. And we all went there and we watched Coach. And we was like, he would never get into a game when it had already started. He could only get in when they put out new decks, because then he could see them. Now, because on a new deck, they spread them all out on the table, upside, downside, so you can see them. And that's how he got into games. He would never get in if it was already being played.
So why were you there? AAU or why were you
No.
there?
We played we had a European tour. We played European teams. My junior year at Michigan. We went to Europe.
In Vegas?
No, this is in Europe. This is in Monte Carlo.
Europe. Oh, yeah. What am I thinking?
Yeah. And we played over there for 17 days.
Wow, I didn't know that.
We played the German national team. We played the Greek national team. We played a lot of teams. You know another funny part? We beat them all. We were all juniors. We were all juniors and sophomores. And we beat all of their teams. Delph Shrimp, who ended up playing at Seattle. He played at Washington.
Yeah. Great player.
Uwe Blob, they played on the German team.
Yeah, went to Indiana.
We smacked them by like 15. And we had all kids, sophomores and juniors.
So did that helped you a great deal?
It helped us. It helped the camaraderie as well.
Right.
It helped the camaraderie because now, we went abroad. We saw things that we would, never have seen if you didn't go over there with a team. It was one of the greatest trips. I think we had 2 trips because we went to Europe, but then we went to Hawaii a couple of times.
Wow.
We all loved Hawaii.
Wow. I love going off on tangents with Richard Rellford. Our audience tells me, they've told me they have Rich tell about those player stories
Yes.
from back in the day, because that's stuff we can't relate to.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
we weren't student athletes at Michigan. I mean, so that's I like us to articulate down there. But before we let you go on this podcast, I want to get a question about next week. Michigan is now 4-0, but they go to Vegas at Mandalay Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They play in that round robin tournament, whatever the hell it's called, and they play San Diego State, who lost to Troy in like double overtime the other night. They give, but they're still, you got to take them serious. And then they play them on Monday night. And then on Tuesday night, they play Auburn, who they lost to in the Sweet 16 last year. Auburn obviously is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're ranked in the top 20, I believe. And then they play Wednesday night a team to be determined. So there's like boom, boom, boom. So and Dusty said last night, this is great because it gets us ready down the line for the Big Ten tournament where you potentially play 3 games in 3 days. That's crazy. Now, as a player,
mm-hmm.
would you like that? No practice. They can't. No practice. You're not going to practice.
You hit the nail on the head. All of us players love the games. You could play us 3-4 games in a row. That's fine. Because that means one thing, no practice. That's what it means. The games are always better than practices because in practice, you go in extra time. We did a lot of running. That's why, you said to me something earlier about the kids don't look tired. Well, Dusty, they must have a really good workout program.
Well, I think I just noticed it about Yax. I mean, he said an interesting comment last night. I love the confidence. He goes, look, I didn't come here to be a role player. I came here to be the guy.
There you go. There you go.
I'll tell you what, we're paying you $3.5 million. You better be the guy.
You better be the guy. You better. But that's a good attitude because if he thinks like that, that means he's trying to be the best player on the floor every night.
That's how I grasped it.
Yeah,
I didn't take it as arrogance.
No, but, I would never take it as arrogance.
No.
So it's a good thing.
I like this kid. I really do. It's gonna be a one and done year. I mean, that's the way basketball is right now.
He's a junior, right? He's a junior or senior?
Well, regardless, I think he's a senior. Regardless, he's going to the NBA next year. I mean, he almost went this past year. I mean,
okay,
and so it's obvious. And so, I mean, I don't even think about next year, Rich, because if you're really good, you're going to be gone in 1 year. I mean,
right? That's exactly right.
Duke's got the great freshmen. They're all going to be one and done. Kentucky does the same thing.
Yep.
That's just the way of the world.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's been away a long, long time. So it's not like college football where you have to be there through 3 classes. You can't go till after your junior year academic before you can go to the NFL. So
right. No, it's not like that in college basketball.
So anyway, Rich, I will let you go. Great job. I love the storytelling. I love to have been the fly on the wall on West Quad and all you crazy guys there, all those basketball players. And we were students swooning all over you cats.
We loved it, man. We loved it. I would tell you, it's a great thing.
Yep. Okay. Well, we'll talk to you after, probably after Thanksgiving. So I want to wish the Kaylee and Richard Rellford family happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Kayla and Richard Rellford have a happy Thanksgiving, and to all of our listeners out there as well. And we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, man. To you and your family, happy Thanksgiving.
All right, Rich. Be good.
All right, my man. Later.